I hope. Anyway, given the fact that there's debatable whether or not the YouTube picked it up or not. Wait and see if it gets picked up by Jeff. Looks like it's being picked up by YouTube, not by our algorithm though. It's always a great sign. Someone just added a link. You actually picked it up yet? We getting a stream link? No, we're not. Okay. Well, I guess everything can be sorted here then. I'm just going to get it directly from the live stream, and then we'll move on with our lives. Share, copy link. Hello, Robert. How's it going? Can everyone hear me properly? Tier 4 blue. I haven't actually seen the windscreen banner at the moment. Okay, good. Just going through and putting it in the YouTube chat, in the Gran Turismo chat. Got people sorting, people trying to talk to each other about strategies from last night. That's interesting. That I was not particularly fond of last night. That Merc was not particularly kind. To me, anyway. To be completely honest with you. Was that Merc was incredibly unstable. Because, you know, that's what we love. That's what we love to see. I've got randoms in front of me as well, so if I start eating, and that's why I've not had any lunch. Decided not to. Because, you know, I'm definitely the smartest person available. I don't know about that. I love this track. I just couldn't get with the Merc. The Merc was oversteering into, well, understeering into corners, oversteering out of corners, and it was a mess. Utter mess. To be completely honest with you, I was having quite a bad day of it. Yeah, my voice is fine. I was just eating a random. That's probably what you were. That's probably what was causing it. You see, I also I can see what people are saying when they say that it's not a good track for overtaking, but I don't agree with them. I don't agree with the fact that it's not the greatest track for overtaking. Purely because there's so many different ways to go past somebody on this track. And it's so many different corners that if you can just get on the inside or get to a corner with an intention of overtaking somebody, there could be some great overtakes done on this track. And everyone's going to look around at that statement and go, yeah, that's obvious. That's how it works for every track, blah, 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 blah. But this track in particular is a line-driven track. Like, doesn't necessarily mean there's one line to it. But the right line will gain you a lot of places. Yeah, of course. You've got to set it up. You've got to pick your spot. You know what you're doing. They are harder. Of course they're going to be harder. Fucking gravel either side. But that's racing, Chuck. That's racing. Most overtakes you do in a race is because the person in front of you makes a mistake. That's the point. If you are overtaking somebody, they are not doing something right. That's the dictionary definition of an overtake when it comes to racing. You're not going to sit there and just let somebody pass if you can help it. So, yeah, you've got to... I don't want to talk about sausage curbs. I went from 10th to 3rd on lap 1 yesterday, and then hit a sausage curb on lap 2 and killed my entire night. It was probably my best lap 1 I've ever done, to be completely honest with you. The best lap 1 I've ever done, followed by arguably the dumbest thing I've ever done. So when BX comes for that tier, it's going to be great. Absolutely insane. I just... Yeah. For a track I loved so much, I definitely did not cover it in glory last night. I'll say that much. Yeah. Believe it or not, you actually have to work the overtakes here. And I think, given what I've heard from Tier 4, this is my point gonna have to be made a few more times to drive it home. Because apparently there are things galore that have happened here by the sounds of things. So we'll get for it in a second. It's currently 8 minutes into the stream, so we will actually start heading through the grid now. Then everyone should be on soft tyres to start. Should be a one-stop race in the feature as well. Whether or not somebody's got good enough tyres to do a medium soft, admittedly overly ambitious, but if they can do it, fair play to them. If not, it's a hard medium for everyone else. Right, so on pole for the first time this season, it's Rich Bluebeard had 3 in a row, converted 1 last week in Watkins Glen, but Laguna will be the first time he's not on pole at all. You got Gus back in second in the Merc, which just proves it's a me issue maybe and not the Merc itself. Then you got Bluebeard in third. So Tracy in fourth in the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin should be very good around here. And Ahmed's in fifth in the Porsche. Same goes to him. Major in sixth in the Gen X is going to struggle massively. Nath in seventh. Obi-Wan in eighth. Chuck Norris in ninth. Apparently has something for me to take a look at some point. Or we'll get a look at that screen windshield sooner rather than later. Top 3 separated by less than a tenth. Fair play. We got Sapper in 10th, and this race is an important one for Sapper. If he's gonna recover from what happened last week, this has to be a good race. Otherwise, it's his season's over. You got H-Boss in 11th, SD in 12th, D-Dubs in 13th, Danger Mouse in 14th, and Yuri rearing the field in the Alfa Romeo. Let's see how everything's going to go for 12 laps of the sprint here with 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go. What an electric start from Gus back in the Merc, and he's already hit the front. Look at that, down into turn 1. He already gets him. Bluebeard side by side with Nathan's got electric starts to Tracy down the inside. Oh, and he clobbered the inside of Rich. And somehow Rich is still there, but Bluebeard's gonna push his way through, and up in a second he goes. Major up in a 4th off the start. Good start for him. There is dirt being kicked off left, right, and centre. Go back a second. I think there's more dirt than 4 wide. That didn't look good. Let's have another look at this. Oh, Danger Mouse kicking up the dirt. And Chuck Norris has a penalty. He's got 3 wide back here with Ahmed Yuri and H-Boss. Oh, H-Boss is off the track. Everyone's somehow surviving. Ahmed has gone from 5th all the way to the back of the grid. Bar 1. I'm not entirely sure how everyone managed to get through that unscathed. Either way, Chuck Norris off a start as a penalty. He's not going to enjoy that. Zappa's gained 3 places, so that's a good start for him. Further forward, still Obi-Wan behind Major, then Rich in 3rd, with Bluebeard in 2nd and Gus back leading out already. I wonder if Gus back's going to have a quite controlled sprint here. Not seen an awful lot from Gus back this season, but he's definitely got the pace to actually show up when it, well, on his day, shall I say. He's got the pace to actually show up in this tier. 28.6 for the first lap. Bluebeard in 2nd, Rich in 3rd, getting chased down by Major at the moment. Actually doing a good job to try and drift away from Obi-Wan now. That was dumb. Obi-Wan ahead of Sir Tracy. Zappa in 7th, Danger Mouse in 8th. Nath in 9th, with Yuri in 10th. Chuck Norris in 11th, dropped down 3 after his penalty. H-Boss in 12th. Not an awful lot is changing out in the middle of the field. Going forward, train starting to form just a little bit now. This is what we were talking about in the lead up to this race. It does become difficult to overtake, but you also have to set those moves up. Rich is ahead of Bluebeard, who must have had a mistake. Let's see if we can go and see what happened to Bluebeard. In 2nd, oh, Sausage Cup. Yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. Gets back on the track. Rich is just going to go by. Bluebeard's going to be in a bit of a troubled spot here now. Major's going to have a good run up the hill. Oh, it's going to be even better if Bluebeard takes that corner like that. That is just sliding the car and, oh, pushes Major on the way through. Bluebeard down in a 5th, down in a 6th. There goes Sapper as well, and Bluebeard gone from 2nd to 7th in a lap. If he even holds on to 7th at this rate, almost there. Another bit of contact. I think there may have been contact from Danger Mouse. This is just, okay. We're just going to go on board with Bluebeard here, because this just looked like a mess. Yeah, a little bit of contact with the McLaren. Can't tell if there was any contact from the GTR on the M6, but he's all the way down in 9th now. With Yuri rounding the outside of him up in the 8th. Chuck Norris going to that inside, or looked like he was going for it for a split second. Doesn't actually make a move. Might have to pick his spot. He does, he goes for it now, and they've got into the side of each other. Chuck Norris ahead of Bluebeard now. That didn't look particularly good. On the way through. H-Boss now looking to try and get past Chuck Norris. Trying to take advantage on the inside here. Bluebeard also looking for an opportunity. Doesn't arise there. But he is going to get a little bit more contact on Chuck Norris on the way through, as these two go side by side through turn 2. A lot of banging between the two of them in the end of the 2nd lap. It looks like Bluebeard has got past Chuck Norris. The return of the favour, I guess, is the best way of putting it. Danger Mouse still ahead of Yuri. Sapper in 6th, Mr. Tracy in 5th. We've got Obi-Wan in 4th, Major in 3rd, Rich in 2nd. Gus back is just whapping his way to the bank at the moment. Same with Rich, who's currently up there with him. Those two, not really got anyone else to actually try and test them. Sapper not quite getting after Sir Tracy. Bluebeard again, just having a... was that H-Boss that was having a bit of a mare this time? Those two side by side up the hill. Oh, H-Boss was a bit deep there. I don't know if there was any contact to take him deep, but he was definitely deep. And Now Chuck Norris trying to go the long way round. Doesn't quite get it. I think H-Boss is going to survive in 10th for now, but he's got dirty tyres. This could be a brilliant move for Chuck Norris. He's got to go for it now, though. Round the outside of the final corner. This is his move if he wants it. The exit should be there. He's in the Gen X, but the acceleration on the Aston Martin just doing a number. And H-Boss is going to stick in 10th. Chuck Norris now to the inside of turn 1. The turn 2 technically on the track. A little bit on the inside, leaving his car in, but he got his move done, and that was a pretty good move. D-Dubs in 12th, Hamilton 13th, Pesty in 14th, Nate right at the back of the grid, having that same issue that I was having with the Merc. Gus back clear, well, not quite clear of Rich. Those two are very much in the distance, however, the rest of the grid. Major currently in 3rd, with everyone in 4th, so Tracy in 5th. Sapper's got to try and make a move eventually. You got Danger Mouse in 7th, Fury in 8th, Bluebeard in 9th has caught right up. Ahmad might be going after D-Dubs here then. Doesn't quite elect to make the move into the uphill corner before the corkscrew. Surprised, admittedly. Easily do. Oh, D-Dubs has made a mistake. I'm not entirely sure what caused that mistake. We'll go on board with him now. Ahmad's going to drive on by. D-Dubs just makes a slight error here. Oh, he caught the rear tyre into the gravel, or sand, whatever you want to call it. And that will do it. Ahmad will take that position. He's not going to complain with that. Esty and Nath up positions as well. Chuck Norris still trying to go after H-Boss. H-Boss should be well and truly safe out of the final corner here, though. Or not, apparently, because Chuck Norris finally got a good exit out of the final corner. He got the overzealous on the banner. Will this one be overzealous? You're going to look to the inside of H-Boss again. It's not overzealous. That's just a good move. Chuck Norris up ahead. H-Boss keep it extremely tight to the inside. He picked his spot. That didn't sound good. Someone else's tires look like they're having a bit of a mare. Yuri trying to defend from Bluebeard here. Bluebeard on the inside. And then to the outside of the forward corner. We got 5 or 6 cars in the same position. Well, trying to occupy the same position on track here. Yuri still ahead of Bluebeard. Bluebeard forced to back out. Well defended from Yuri in the end. Obi-Wan's dropped down to 6th. Obi-Wan must have had issues in this lap. So Tracy up in the 4th, Zappa up into the top 5, and this that's what I was saying about in the pre-race, that Zappa needed a good race to follow up what happened in Watkins Glen. What happened? Because that kind of race, especially the one that happened at Zappa for Watkins Glen, is a type that can shatter confidence really quickly if you don't respond properly. And he's up in the 5th right now. We've got Major in 3rd, clear of Sir Tracy at the moment. Rich in 2nd, still trailing Gus back by maybe about a second now, actually. It goes a little bit longer out. They're all but halfway in this sprint race, and the Merc hasn't been tested an awful lot. Teammate is having a tough time of it, to be honest with you. I think it's one way of putting it. Chuck Norris still ahead of H-Boss for now. Well, that looked like Bluebeard was just lagging forward on the replay there. He is having a bit of a bounce on the track at the moment. Oh, Yuri is trying to get himself past the 2 Nissan GTRs, the Benetton colours. I don't really think they're going to be able to do much about it, though. Zappa just gaining a little bit of a distance to the cars behind, but he isn't really challenging to Tracy at the moment. I actually want to know what the flag is on the side of his car. I think it might be Basque. I have to ask Tracy that. There's a penalty, however, in the background. It's Danger Mouse that's got the half second. There goes Yuri on through then, so he got past one half of the team. Bluebeard trying to get through as well on Danger Mouse to the outside now. They're going to go side by side down into turn 1. Danger Mouse has got a good run. Bluebeard's going to try and hang it on the outside. Good exit here. Could see Bluebeard past. They're still side by side at the head of the 3. Bluebeard will get by. Yuri's kicking up dirt. And Chuck Norris is going to try something now. This would have been overzealous, but he doesn't go for it. All about setting up the move. We were talking about it in the pre-race. You've got to try and force someone else into a mistake. Nothing. You've got to run your own race. Try and make someone else make the mistake. Take the position off of them when they inevitably do. SD is still ahead of Nathan and D-Dubs at the back. Gus back still quite heavily favoured at the front of the grid right now. And it's the McLaren afterwards, with Rich just starting to close in. And it's Major, followed by Sir Tracy, followed by Sapper, who's got a decent gap to Obi-Wan. Then Bluebeard in 7th and Yuri in 8th. Okay, we're going to go back here because there's sounding like, or looking like, a bunch of cars. Nice move there from Bluebeard to the inside. Yuri is now in trouble. You go with a couple of cars behind. Yuri goes a little bit wide. Everyone else seems to have made it through. Chuck Norris is just sitting there watching this battle unfold. We're going, whoa, about 5 cars here. Chuck Norris around the outside. Danger Mouse is going to have to do something. Yuri's in the gravel. He somehow managed to keep his spot. Or has he? I think Danger Mouse has finally got past Yuri then. That has been the case. Down towards turn 1. Chuck Norris, I think, may have tagged Yuri just a little bit there. H-Boss also leaving a little bit in on the Portuguese driver. The Genesis has still got enough alongside to go and fight back if he wants it. And he will. And he has got by. H-Boss running out of room. And there goes Ahmad's up into 11th as well. Some may say there may have been a little bit of contact there from Chuck Norris. I would say there's 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. H-Boss did it in the prior corner. In basically the exact same way. Chuck Norris now on Yuri as well, looking to try and make himself up into the top 9 now. Currently is in 10th. Oh, Ahmad's kicking up dirt! Kicking up the gravel, losing out to H-Boss now, and that may have actually cost him reverse grid pole. Oh, Chuck Norris to the inside. That was an excellent exit. Yuri, yes, yeah, that might do it. That's a little bit too much contact maybe left in from the Dutchman. Yeah, and Chuck Norris has probably got a right to feel aggrieved there. Go to the out as well. Now here comes H-Boss to the inside of turn 1. These two have been going at it the entire time. A little bit of contact again between the 3 of them this time. And Chuck Norris has dropped all the way to 11th. There's a bunch of battles going on here in the middle of the pack and trying to decide that reverse grid pole. Bluebeard trying to go after Obi-Wan now. There is nothing there for him whatsoever. Obi-Wan defending that well there. They head up the hill on lap 9. A little bit dirt being kicked up, but that's how you keep the speed. Zappa behind Sir Tracy, who is right up on the back of Major now. Major getting an exceptional exit out of the corkscrew. If he head down the hill, got himself a bit of breathing room from Sir Tracy, who now has to defend from the McLaren in 5th. Rich still not really challenging Gus back for anything. Zappa looks for the outside there a little bit. He goes a little bit too deep to actually challenge the Aston Martin. Obi-Wan's still fighting with Bluebeard as they head down through, well, up through turn 1, shall I say. And then down the hill again through turn 2. Bluebeard is lagging his way onto the outside. This is going to be a problem for him if he goes for a move. That's well defended from Obi-Wan again. Just holds the inside line to start with and then covers off the inside line in turn 3. Bluebeard just hasn't found a way through. Can't find a way through because this is just well defended. A little bit dirt kicked up again from Bluebeard, but this time he's got a better exit. Round the outside he goes. There is an opportunity for him here, but it isn't going to be taken because again Obi-Wan just shuts off the inside. It's pretty well done from the cars out front at the moment. Chuck Norris still, now behind Yuri, ahead of H-Boss. It looks like he might go for something. Here is Chuck Norris. This is going to be an interesting place for an overtake. Going around the outside of the corkscrew. No, he backs out. Probably a smart way of doing it. Yuri messes up. Yuri messed up a lot there. Chuck Norris has got a half-second penalty. Let's have another look at that. If I can get on the camera angle. Let's see what happened to Yuri here. Oh, he just missed it. He just missed it, and he got a little bit slidey through the corkscrew, and the Alfa Romeo is going to make him pay for that. Chuck Norris has got a half-second penalty for cutting too far to the inside. H-Boss is going to try and get himself involved now. To the inside he goes! On Yuri! H-Boss is in front for now! Yuri's got the inside line in the final corner! The Aston Martin acceleration should do him a good deal of justice here. He's got himself alongside up the hill towards turn 1, through turn 1, and then down towards turn 2 and 3. H-Boss is in front of Yuri, and will stay in front of Yuri. Asti's closing in. Nathan 13th, Hamilton 14th, not really having much of a recovery drive after his mistake into the gravel earlier on. Yuri just dropping off the back of everyone now. Chuck Norris is going to go round the outside here. A good exit will do it. A good exit is exactly what he's got. A little bit of contact almost forced him onto the sand. But that will force him onto the sand. He carried too much speed. He's still ahead. I'm not sure how he's still ahead or how he even kept the car intact. The dirty tyre is going to cost him that. I think there might be another half-second tacked on. Danger Mouse now to the inside. I'm surprised Chuck Norris had avoided the half-second being tacked on. He's now defending from Danger Mouse. He got a little bit of contact on the way through, but he's still defending well. H-Boss looks to the inside, forces Danger Mouse to try and make that move stick. Yuri picks him off. What a move from Yuri down to the inside. Danger Mouse is squeezing him all the way to the wall. We've got a 4 wide. H-Boss is the big, well actually Chuck Norris might be the big loser out of all this. 3 wide here. More contact on the way through. Chuck Norris I think instigated that one. Danger Mouse is still ahead of H-Boss until now, turn 4. Excellent move there for H-Boss. If he moves to the inside, gets 9th. Chuck Norris is trying to get himself into that top 10. They know what they need to do. They're still fighting. I don't really think it can go off for this battle at all. Even though there's a battle at the front. H-Boss versus Danger Mouse. Danger Mouse has got round the outside. A good exit will do it. He didn't get the good exit, and the Aston Martin's acceleration just holds H-Boss in place. They go down the hill here. Go back to the front in a second. I don't really know if there's going to be anything here. It doesn't look like there will be. We go to the front. We'll actually go right back to bring that back because we've got so many battles to watch here on this final lap. As Gus back and Rich go to the line now. So we'll start the front. Rich is about a half-second back. I don't even know how that camera angle changed. So we'll go back to the cinematic camera angle with Gus back. Finally showing up at Tier 4 with a win at Laguna in the sprint. This Rich in second, so Tracy for the Aston Martin team gets third, Zappa gets fourth, Bluebeard, Major and Obi-Wan will go back with these three. These three look like they're all over the place as well. We're back just a little bit. Major is currently ahead all the way back to the corkscrew with Bluebeard, Obi-Wan and Major. Bluebeard just diving a little bit there into the corkscrew, but it looked like he still had the better driving at the moment. The tyres are a lot better on that M6 than they are in the Gen X. Major's going to have a couple of corners of perfection here. Otherwise, he might lose out that top 5. Look at Bluebeard to the inside here. Dives it to the inside, and Major should just have let him. And Bluebeard to the final corner. Should have it. and will just about hang on over Major, who gets 6th. Obi-Wan gets 7th. Yuri gets 8th. H-Boss gets 9th. There's a overtake here from a couple of drivers. I'm not sure what happened back here either. Oh, a little bit of contact there from Chuck Norris. And Nathan Steer there as well. Nathan on the outside trying to get Chuck Norris here. And Nace off into the gravel. I'm not entirely sure how I'm meant to cover all this. Chuck Norris does get Danger Mouse right at the end. Beats him in a drag race to the line. Chuck Norris will start on reverse grid pole. Danger Mouse in 11th, Vesty in 12th, Nathan 13th, Avalanche in 14th, and then D-Dubs at the back of the grid. A lot happened in the final 3 or 4 corners of that race. Also, it turns out I do know my flags, because Jill just confirmed to me that is Basque Country, the Basque flag on Sir Tracy's car. Take a drink at the end there while it's sorting itself out. Well, that was a lot that happened in just a sprint race. I can imagine what we're about to witness in 29 laps. Welcome everyone to the stream. If you didn't pick up the sprint, we've just finished up the sprint race, 12 laps of Laguna Seca. We're about to go into 29 laps of Laguna Seca in the feature race. Where's H-Boss? There's H-Boss. Yeah, that's what we're about to do. Getting out the sheet as well so I can fill in everything that goes on as we go along. Whilst it loads up, Rich is second. Alright, we will click off that so that way people don't see who may have won this race. Be it some people may have already actually seen what's happened throughout like the different chats and everything, but we're about to go running for 29 laps with the Portuguese driver at the front. So Chuck Norris starting on the hards, mediums for H-Boss in the Aston Martin. Then you've got Yuri on mediums in 3rd, Obi-Wan on hards in 4th, Major in mediums in 5th, Bluebeard on hards in the M6 in 6th, Sapper on hards in 7th. I can imagine that means Richard on hards in 9th as well. So Tracy on mediums in the Aston Martin in 8th, and I was right about Rich in 9th. Gus back on hards in the Merc. There's really no chance of any other strategy being viable here, especially for the Merc. Some people are going to do medium softs or attempt to do medium softs here, in which fair play. They hadn't even contemplated that as a strategy before yesterday. We got Danger Mouse here in 11th on the hard tyres. Esty on the hard in 12th. Nath as well in 13th, with Ahmed in 14th in the Porsche on the hards, and then D-Dubs on the mediums at the rear of the field. I swear to God, if I see a 2-stop, I will lose my goddamn mind. But yeah, that's the entire grid being run through. That last lap was all over the place. In the nicest way possible for a lot of people. It was just all over the place. But yeah. We're about to go. Right, let's get going then. For 29 laps of the feature here at Laguna Seca. Chuck Norris will have an advantage to start with. H-Boss is on the softer tyre. And we are off to the races here for 29 laps on what will mark the halfway point of the season. Chuck Norris not really relinquishing anything to H-Boss off the start. Well, that didn't look too great there. I don't know. I'm going to run that back 10 seconds. I'm not entirely sure if H-Boss got him at all. Got on board with H-Boss there into turn 2. They go down towards turn 2. Looked a little bit deep there from H-Boss. Actually, somehow not managed to tag Chuck Norris in all of that. Yuri ahead of Obi-Wan, and then Major and Bluebeard, then Sapper in 7th, but there's a gap already forming from 6th to 7th. So Tracy in 8th, then Rich in 9th, Gus back in 10th, Danger Mouse in 11th, Esty in 12th, Nathan 13th, Ahmed in 14th, D-Dubs rearing the field. Nothing changing through the first couple of corners. We'll see if things change through the first lap. The front 6 have already trained their way into the lead. Well, into the leading pack, shall I say, is probably the best or better way to put it. We've split into about 2 or 3 different packs already, and it's only lap 1. Controller telling me my battery level is low. H-Boss looking for a move. Almost looked like he was trying to go to the inside, lead a little bit in on Chuck Norris, but Chuck Norris still has the advantage. Yuri in 3rd, Obi-Wan in 4th. Oh, just about cuts off. Major in 5th at the moment. And Chuck Norris going the long way round to cut off H-Boss. As we were, Major down the inside now on Obi-Wan. Gets a lot of the sausage curb. Obi-Wan in turn kind of squeezes Bluebeard into the gravel, so Bluebeard is dropped off the top 6. We've got battle left, right and centre at the front of the grid. H-Boss round the outside on the softer compounded tyre. Chuck Norris is trying, but just has no sort of traction there. He's dropped to 3rd. Yuri off to a good start as well, which is much needed for him. He's not had a great start to the season at all. Now it's Genesis on Genesis. Major and Chuck Norris need to be working together here, not against each other. They're the only two with 2 drivers at the front, so quite frankly, they could make people pay for this. Oh, no, they couldn't! No, they couldn't! Oh, Chuck Norris is off the track straight away! Rejoining just ahead of Sapper. Well, that is a commentator's curse if I've ever seen one. Bluebeard all the way down to 9th now as well. Sapper is up. Well, Sapper is trying to defend from Sir Tracy and trying to attack Chuck Norris at the same time. And it looked like Sapper now had a real good shot. A real good shot. Just switched to the inside here on Chuck Norris. They're both on hard tyres. Chuck Norris covers off the outside line. Sapper for some reason goes even further outside. And now switches to the inside. Doesn't look like he's got the acceleration in that McLaren to challenge the Gen X, however. That is going to be the case. Looks like Sapper trying to go the long way round now on Chuck Norris. We just saw this happen on the lap prior with H-Boss for the lead. It's not going to happen here, but Sir Tracy's going to open it up now. Sir Tracy to the inside and just clobbers Sapper on the way through. And Sapper's all over the place now. Let's get a second look at that. Yeah, Sir Tracy just getting all of that one straight to the side of Sapper. Sapper going to rejoin the track all right. It looks like, it doesn't look like he is. That might have been an unsafe rejoin there from Sapper as he goes off again. Oh, nice round! And gets saved by the Porsche. Was there any contact in that? I don't think there would be. That just looked like a mistake. It was a mistake there from Nave. Just gets away with the Porsche existing on his inside. D-Dub's trying to go the long way round now on Ahmed. Isn't really going to be able to do it. Right further forward, Gus back ahead of Danger Mouse. Richard in 8th, Bluebeard in 7th. So Tracy in 6th. Chuck Norris has got a decent gap now in 5th. Obi-Wan in 4th with Major and Yuri fighting it out for 3rd and 2nd. Yuri's got a half-second penalty for cutting the corkscrew too tightly. And H-Boss has a significant chance now Let's see if there's going to be any chance of Major, any chance of... Well, I would say for Yuri as well, but our second penalty is going to damage his opportunities in this one. H-Boss is going to have to take this time to just essentially pick apart that gap. Try and get as long as huge as possible for H-Boss. If you're Major, you've got to start making moves forward. Everyone in fourth, Chuck Norris in fifth, so Tracy's got himself back in the fight. Trying to get back towards fifth. Bluebeard's in seventh at the moment, not that far off the back of Sir Tracy. There you can go, there you go. You can see the train starting to form with these 6 cars. Train headed by Chuck Norris, reared by Danger Mouse. Ahmed is currently in 11th, with D-Dubs in 12th, Nathan 13th, SD in 14th, and Sapper in 15th. So SD's had a bit of a problem now as well. Go further forward again, just back to this train just for a second. Chuck Norris had got close to Obi-Wan, just not really maintaining that situation. Yuri's about to serve his half-second penalty, so we'll go forward to that now, actually. Yuri probably about 7/10 of a second clear on Major at the moment. That would be enough to lose that place off the penalty here. The penalty start-finish line is effectively the penalty zone. So Major's just going to blast on by here, surely. And yes, he has. So Major's up in a second. The only problem that poses now is trying to get close to H-Boss for both drivers in second and third. Don't forget, Major's tyres are going to go off the quickest of the 3. They're all on medium tyres at the front of the grid, but you've got to find some pace. You've got to find it quickly. You can see the Aston Martin just starting to drift off. First of the hard tyre runners, Obi-Wan. We saw this, I don't know if it was last week or whether or not it was in Tokyo as well. The Tokyo that we did second? I think it was Tokyo we did second, if I'm remembering right. Where the Obi-Wan has a lot of pace, especially on the harder tyre. He's the one that always seems to lead this group and then seems to fall off later on, so we'll see if that continues on. Chuck Norris defending from Sir Tracy as it stands, with Bluebeard right behind that, Rich in 8th as well. I don't know how Rich is gonna attack this then, because he looks like he wants to try and make a move on Bluebeard, but he's not really getting a lot of space to do so. Gus back is right on the back of these. Danger Mouse just starting to drop off a little bit. About 5-6 star train still at the moment. There's Ahmed still ahead of D-Dubs. They've got a quite sizable advantage now to SD in 13th, and then you've got Nathan 14th, and Zappa's going to serve his penalty here as he tries to catch up. Chuck Norris still ahead of Sir Tracy, but it won't last much longer. Sir Tracy to the inside. Again, a little bit of contact on the way through in turn 3. Well, turn 4 even, but it's ahead this time. Chuck Norris is off the track. Chuck Norris is all the way off the track, so we'll get a second look at this. Is there anything in this? Down towards turn 4. So Tracy, he just leads it in on Chuck Norris as he did on Zappa earlier on. Chuck Norris didn't manage to avoid it there. Won't manage to avoid it here though, and Bluebeard just careening straight in the side of him. Chuck Norris not going to be too happy with that one, I don't think. He is still on the back of the train, however. Hasn't lost too much time. Tracy, however, now had the opportunity just to drive on from the group because he's on medium tyres. Everyone else around him is on the hards. Literally everyone all the way down in this train is on the hards except for Sir Tracy, so he's got to move forward now. Try and get towards Obi-Wan, because don't forget the top 3 are all on medium tyres right now. Just trying to see if they can open up some sort of opportunity here. So Tracy needs to drive away. The guy who groups behind just needs to tag onto the back of him for as long as they physically can. they're going a little bit more speed, I reckon you would probably, I would agree with you with that assessment. Bit rough going into that corner, trying to get Chuck Norris there, admittedly. I think he just had a bit of a rush of blood, trying to, well, going through a hole that he just saw open wide. But we'll continue on. Rich still behind Bluebeard for now, then it's Gus back, and then Chuck Norris after that. And then I believe that's Danger Mouse still in 10th, with Ahmed's in 11th, D-Dub's in 12th, has got away from the back of the grid. Sapper's got past Nave, so Sapper's off the bottom of the pile. H-Boss is a significant amount ahead of Major now. That last lap, actually 2 tenths slower, but the lap before, 6 tenths quicker, so just starting to level it. Major's just starting to level it out, but the problem is he's left it a little bit too late at this point on the medium tyres. H-Boss is quite definitely in the distance. Obi-Wan's actually not that far off the medium tyre runners now. He's well and truly putting himself in a position to succeed. 24.9 on the last lap is a pretty good lap there for Obi-Wan. So Tracy 23.9, currently the fastest lap of the race, though behind him. In an entire second on that last lap, has cleared Bluebeard by quite some way. It's exactly what Sir Tracy needed to do. That Aston Martin team needed him to do that. We continue on. We hit probably, well, just shy of a third of the way through. You see that Sir Tracy is starting to hunt down that GTR now. Shouldn't be too long before he's on the back of him. Yuri and Major still fighting it out as well. I think Major just made a mistake. He's about 10 mile an hour clear slower up the hill than Yuri is. But Major will hang on. Yuri again just sliding his way through the corkscrew rather than just getting a good line through it. That proved more and more problematic as we go along. If he can't get the corkscrew right, Major's just going to hold him up for as long as he can at this point. Here we go again with the Aston Martin versus the Genesis as they look up the hill, trying to get their way through, well, past each other and try to get towards H-Boss, who's got a commanding lead as of right now. It didn't look good for Yuri there at all. Trying to match into the second apex. He gets a lot better of an exit than Major does, that's for certain. Again, just drifting a little bit wide on some of these corners where Major's just pulling all the way to the inside and doing enough to keep the advantage where it is. And as soon as, oh, that didn't look too great. A little bit of a catch there from Yuri as he pushes himself just a little bit further behind Major now. Obi-Wan right there with Sir Tracy. So Sir Tracy did exactly what we said he needed to do. He got himself on those medium tyres that he's currently on, away from the pack he was with. Now he's with Obi-Wan, who himself isn't that far away from Yuri and Major, who have been fighting this entire time. So Sir Tracy had the opportunity to open up to try and take, maybe not one position, but try and take 3 in a row. He's got to do a better cornering than that. That's one way of putting it, that's a certain. Position on Obi-Wan should not be too difficult to get at this rate. Let's see how long Obi-Wan can hold on for. Tires actually don't look too different between the medium and the hard runner at the moment. That's not promising for Obi-Wan, I'll say that much. We got Bluebeard in 6th, comfortably ahead of Rich in 7th then. Bluebeard starting to pull away as well. Then it goes back in 8th, Chuck Norris in 9th, Danger Mouse in 10th, who's being charged down by Ahmed now. In the Porsche, trying to get himself in top 10 here. At Laguna Seca for that Porsche team. Just been newly promoted to a full-time driver as well as Ahmed's. So, we'll see what he has to offer the tier going forward. D-Dub's in 12th, not that far off the back of Danger Mouse and Ahmed, but for now not really posing a threat. The same goes still for the front, for second and third against H-Boss. H-Boss is very much in control of this race. Yuri, Major, just not having a great exit there at all in the slightest. Both of them kicking up dirt on the outside. Everyone is now under a significant threat. Here comes the Tracy to the inside. Everyone is going to squeeze him the entire way in. That was a commendable defensive attempt. So Tracy just dives and he got it done. That's a well-placed dive there, Sir Tracy had picked his spot. You could tell he was picking his spot a couple of corners back. Made up his mind that he was going into turn 2, regardless of what happened, even after getting squeezed into the wall. And made it a pretty good move, stick. Up in a fourth, now he can go after Yuri and Major. And Aston Martins are in an exceptional position to take advantage. Bluebeard in 6th, Rich in 7th, Gus back and Chuck Norris. Oh, Gus back is having problems now then, I guess. Chuck Norris to the inside. I don't really know if Chuck Norris is going to be able to get anything in this. He's actually ahead going into the corkscrew, but he's not been able to hold the car. And Gus back will hold on. Just about hold on, may I add. Meg just doing enough to hold on to 8th. Chuck Norris, that is sand. Don't want to be away out there, but he's going to go to the inside. He's going to run out of room. And Gus back is going to defend well again. Danger Mouse now been overtaken by both Ahmads and D-Dubs as Ahmad's jumped into the top 10. We're back to the front. Admittedly, I'm only this early in the week because I'm proving a point, Deck. We continue on. So Tracy still ahead of Obi-Wan, still trying to chase down Yuri and Major in front. Yuri still trying to get himself in front of Major. Has been struggling now for about 10 laps in his pursuit of doing so. Since that penalty, he hasn't been able to make the overtake again, and that penalty is going to cost him a lot at this point. No, it's cost him any tethers to say a H-Boss that he had, that's a certain. H-Boss is gone. Turns the corner now, you can see H-Boss has just finished the lap. He is in cruise control of this position right now. 25.2 for Major. 25.8 for H-Boss actually. So surprisingly, H-Boss losing about 6/10 of a second on that lap. Major, maybe Yuri is giving Major the fire he needs. Obi-Wan is back ahead of Sir Tracy, so something has happened to Sir Tracy here. Oh, that'll do it. We'll go back to figure it out. He was comfortably ahead of Obi-Wan. Oh, he just clipped. That's painful. I know that feeling. I know that feeling all too well. That inside curve will just kill you every time without fail. That'll do it. That's a certain. Bluebeard now next on the list to try and challenge Obi-Wan then. So Tracy's got to find a rhythm again. I wonder whether or not Yuri and Major's going to have any sort of battles going on at the moment. We're almost halfway into this race and these two have been deadlocked as they have been for the last 10 of them easily. H-Boss still in complete control of this one. Still 6/10 of a second down on his last half, however. Obi-Wan ahead of Bluebeard. The medium tires are just starting to fall off a little bit. The hard tires are starting to come into fashion. If Obi-Wan can put a couple of good laps together, might be able to actually put a fight together with the front, especially with Yuri and Major. I'm about to say the front three, like H-Boss isn't up the road by quite some distance. Bluebeard also still trying to go right to the back of Obi-Wan at the moment as well. Don't forget these two on the hard tyres. Obi-Wan is the lead car on a hard tyre. We'll see if there's going to be anything in this for the M6. Your current championship leader going into the day has to get himself close, otherwise H-Boss is going to start to ask some questions of said championship lead. Gus back in 7th right now, up ahead of Rich then. He's starting to make his way the right direction now instead of backwards. And Chuck Norris is just trying to hang on to the back of them with D-Dubs in 11th, Danger Mouse in 12th, Ahmed's in... Danger Mouse in 11th, sorry, Ahmed's in 12th, SD in 13th, Zappa's in the pits. Onto a medium tyre, can I only assume. At this point, and then 8th after that. I don't know where Zappa's going to come out last, but he'll be in a good position later on in the race. Gus back just starting to put some laps together now. Albeit Rich was a half second quicker on that last one. Rich needs to get himself some free air. To be completely honest with you, he needs to get in front of Gus back, get himself back into, well, out of the dirty air, just so he can get himself in a position to attack rather than defend. So H-Boss on them, off of the medium tyres, Major off of the medium tyres. They did their 14, they're moving on to a hard tyre then. Yuri stays out, Obi-Wan stays out, Bluebeard stays out. It's Sir Tracy going in as well. No, Sir Tracy stays out. The hard tyre runner's going to come in the next lap or two. We are now, we're about to head into halfway of this race. This is where you'll start to see the pit stops. Bluebeard is really pressuring Obi-Wan now as well. Just starting to make something happen. Bluebeard again with a little bit of attack though. In the same corner that he got Chuck Norris earlier. I don't know whether or not these are half-hearted attempts or just I see a gap. I'm going to try and force my way into it, but Bluebeard needs to be a little bit more patient here. Maybe the championship leader, and they see the mistake from Obi-Wan's right there. He'd been a little bit more patient, the better run would have come up the hill. He's going to be able to put a move in anyway. But Obi-Wan's now got the inside line. And I think Obi-Wan should have the exit as well. And it's going to go side by side. They're going to continue to go side by side. This should be the inside exit. Obi-Wan should have defended a lot better, but chose not to. Obi-Wan should have defended that a lot more aggressively than what he did. Bluebeard off of the hard tyres. So Tracy goes into the pits. Gus back into the pits. Danger Mouse into the pits. D-Dubs has stayed out. Chuck Norris has stayed out. Obi-Wan and Yuri have both stayed out as well, but Yuri is on a medium tyre. This will be very interesting to see if Yuri's going to plan on doing the one-stop. But with the one-stop, I mean medium soft one-stop instead of the opposite, which everyone else has attempted to do. You're Obi-Wan, you're Bluebeard. You have a glorious opportunity now to try and hunt down the grid. The guy in front. If you're on a hard, this is roughly about where you want to pit. Yes. If you can pit earlier, you pit earlier. But this is where most people would have started to pit about the 14-15 lap mark. If you're on the medium tyres, then you just had to drive them off pretty much until they fall off the car. That's exactly what Yuri's doing now, trying to do the one-stop medium soft potentially. If he continues on, he's not pitting again. For reference, if you're doing the soft, you need to pit. I reckon about lap 18 is probably the earliest you can pit to get that one-stop medium soft done. Chuck Norris is now into the pit. That Gen X not good on its tyre wear in any way, shape or form. So you elect to pit late. Everyone stayed out again. Surprised, I thought the GTR would be a little bit better in terms of picking the strategy than it currently is. Nath is out on track at the moment, but he's right behind Yuri. So Nath has currently been lapped. As of right now, Nath is a lap back. We've also lost someone, because we started with 15. I'm not sure who we lost. But Yuri, Obi-Wan, D-Dubs hasn't picked yet. Sapper's right behind Ahmed, so we'll see what's happening with them later on. Nath has had a struggle of a day. There's Gus back with Chuck Norris. Okay, I think Gus back should get out ever so slightly ahead. It'll be about a second, maybe a second and a half that Gus back should have on Chuck Norris. Undercut was necessary in the end. Danger Mouse is also not that far behind. Richard going after Sir Tracy. Don't forget, this is now flipped. So Tracy is on the hards, Richard on the mediums. There should be moves aplenty now for those who've just gone onto the medium tyre. Rich not looking for it up there. Well, was looking for it, didn't execute it up the hill. Can imagine if he's going anywhere, it should be into turn 2. That'd probably be the easiest position to go for it. Unless he's going now, he might go now! Oh, he looked like he was dying for it there. So Tracy covers it off. And then Rich just gets a not so great line there through the second to last. Everyone is now in the pits. Rich sliding his car on the exit. Wonder if Sir Tracy's got anything in the bag to keep himself ahead of the McLaren, the Mercedes, those guys on the medium tyres behind him now. Imagine they're all going to be coming one by one to try and pick him off. That's not a good start of defending. Tracy sliding his car out of turn 3. It's under fire now out of turn 4. Into turn 5 overtake. No, Richard just trying to bide his time. There might be one now. If you're Rich, you send this to the inside, surely. Surely you get a little bit late on the brakes. He could have gone for that. It would have been a little bit of a dive, but Sir Tracy on the hard tyres had to brake earlier. I think he could have gone for that. And Sir Tracy, hold on. Gusback is now catching at a rapid rate. So if you're Rich, you've got to make this move. You've got to make this move quickly. Otherwise, you're going to be right here, stuck behind that Aston Martin. This is it. No, it's not. You just couldn't get a good enough exit on it. I am questioning some of the decisions here, to be honest with you. There's got to be some sort of... You've got to pick your spot eventually, Rich. Otherwise, Gus back and Chuck Norris is staring down the barrel at you. This is not going for it here either. It's just a little bit out of sorts. Sir Tracy, there you go. Oh, and he contacted his way through, Rich. I think he left that one a little bit late. He saw a hole late. He went for it, but this time he's going to switch it back, and this one should be a move. And has got it. Hey, my decision making is not bad. I just do dumb shit. There is quite a difference. Yuri into the pits now. That's a soft tire going on his car. D-Dubs is actually going to do the same. Currently still out in second place. We're probably not going to come out anywhere near second place. That's a certain. There's H-Boss coming through the final couple of corners now. I said it would have gone for it early. He picked a spot late. That's the difference. H-Boss there still ahead of Major by quite some way. All three of these on the medium tire, on the, not the medium tires anymore. They're all on the, oh, actually. Bluebeard is on a medium tire. I didn't even realize it was Bluebeard. Huds for Major. Not entirely sure where the car in third would have gone. Oh, Yuri just pit. That's why I'm losing my mind, I think. Yuri's come out straight behind Obi-Wan. Oh, that's not good news for Yuri at all. Good luck. You're gonna need it coming out that far back. Don't forget, Major was right beside Yuri when Major pit originally. Yuri's gonna have to make this quick. It's mediums versus soft, so again the tyre advantage is in Yuri's favour. Yuri had got to make this move, and he's got to make it very quickly because there's not a lot of laps left. Bluebeard is now up ahead of Major, so we'll go back and take a look at that. They head up the hill. Major again just doesn't seem to have the same sort of speed. He is on the hard tyre. He just gives up that position to Bluebeard. So Bluebeard up in a second and try and charge down H-Boss then. H-Boss also on a hard tyre. Is the championship leader versus the championship second place at the moment for the lead of this race. Yuri's still behind Obi-Wan. If I'm honest with you, if they can get a good exit in this Alfa Romeo, this might be moved down into turn 2. I think he did get an exit, a good exit. It might still be too far away. He's Obi-Wan moved to the inside to defend. Yuri gone for it. Oh, and he's hit him on the way through. And realistically, he might have been a bit too far back to try that. I will still commend the ability to pick the spot, however. I do like that kind of decision making. I just don't like the fact that it's come to contact to do so. But you have to try. That kind of thing wants to figure it out. You don't usually get away with more than one, admittedly. But you do have to try that sometimes. Try and find where that limit is. Especially on the softer compound, try and get your way through. Don't think you would have much of a defense if it went to a steward, though. Yuri's still charging. Right, so Yuri's now charging Major down. Bluebeard is well in the distance with H-Boss staring down a barrel of a win at the moment. I wonder whether or not Bluebeard's going to catch him. He's got a lot of time there. I think Bluebeard should be in a very good position to catch him. Richards in 6th. Oh, there is someone doing a bit of an escapade in the background there. We've got a few people here. So Gus back to Tracy. And that's Danger Mouse and Chuck Norris in 9th and 10th. That's Ahmad's further back, so we'll go on Ahmad now. As he goes round that corner. Oh, he clipped the curb. Yeah, that's a gravel trip. That is a gravel trip every day of the week. That was almost an unsafe rejoin as well to go with. But Zappert now up into 11th. He's starting to recover just a little bit. Not too far off the back of Chuck Norris and company and 10th onwards, but probably still a little bit too far back to make any note of it in this race. So Tracy, he'll head a Gus back. And then Danger Mouse and Chuck Norris, all three of them on the medium tyres. So Tracy on the hard. So Tracy might still finish in the top 10. But it might have to be 10th at this rate. Unless you're going to put on some staunch defending. A little bit further forward. Yuri's getting caught by Obi-Wan again. Again, Yuri's got to go forward, not backwards. You'll be going after Major instead of fighting the car behind. Especially with the podium on the line. Some good driving the next few laps for Yuri will get him on the podium here. I don't think he can get close enough to Bluebeard and or H-Boss now, because I think they're too far away from 3rd place. It takes some hell of a lap, some laps to do so though, if he is going to manage it. They had 25-1 on the last lap from H-Boss, 24-3 from Bluebeard. So all of a sudden, Bluebeard is chalking out that time, and the championship leader is on a march. After we head through, he's currently on a purple lap as well. The opportunity is going to open up here. 100% the opportunity is going to open up for Bluebeard. The Aston Martin going to have to do some work to defend this one. Yuri also looking at Major now. Major must have made a mistake or two on the last lap. 26.0 is never a good time. 1.5 seconds slower than Yuri. Yuri now trying to make a look to the inside and makes a lunge to the inside. Get through without contact. He's ahead of Yuri. He's ahead of Major now, but Major's going to fight it back straight away. Give as good as he gets. I have to commend both of them there. I'm not entirely sure how Yuri managed to make the first one without completely wiping Major off the face of the planet. That was fairly impressive of the fact that neither driver hit each other on the way through. Either of them there. Major did well to try and fight that straight back. Just didn't really have much of a chance to stand up to the soft tyres on the hards, that's for certain. Obi-Wan will have a good shot at him now as well. Mitch in 6th, and Gus back in 7th. Chuck Norris in 8th, so Tracy is now in 9th as he is just plummeting down the field. Danger Mouse has to take advantage of this opportunity now. Get past the Tracy, go after Gus back and Chuck Norris. And then, well, Sapper might also get himself involved in this as well at this rate. For now, we'll go a little bit further forward. Yuri has cleared Major quite significantly now. Major's going to be under fire from Obi-Wan. We've just had a preview on the last lap of how this works. Obi-Wan had a sneak peek to the inside for a split second there. I think Major came over to cover it off. Major did well defensively there. He was caught off guard a little bit there on the last lap from Yuri. He's managed to hold on against Obi-Wan, and again, Obi-Wan looking to the inside there, but it's held on pretty well from Major. And then Rich is now involved, so Rich has caught up to the group. Looking to try and sneak a top 5 after not doing an awful lot today, admittedly. On a season that started so promising on a double win, not really being much of a factor since. Obi-Wan's got a good move opportunity available in the next couple of corners here, if he can get it right. One good exit is all it takes. I think he may have just got it. I think he may have just got it. Go to the inside. Go to the inside, Obi-Wan. Major's going to try and squeeze him off, but there is no defending that. Obi-Wan takes it to the inside here. Major. Oh, that's a bit questionable. Yeah, we're going to watch that one again. It's a bit questionable. That's a first off, that's a squeeze he didn't need to make. All the way down the hill. Yeah, how has he saved that? I thought that was going to be Major dead. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure how both drivers have got out of that unscathed. Well, at least one of them should have been in a wall of some description. That was also not how you defend it from Major. Maybe a little bit too aggressive on the defensive side there against Rich. Just back and Chuck Norris have driven away from Sir Tracy, and Danger Mouse has not put up any fight to get past the Aston Martin. D-Dubs and Sapper in 11th and 12th. D-Dubs is starting to make his way forward again, trying to see if he can get himself into that top 10. Only opportunity if he wants it. Bluebeard still being held at bay from the H-Boss now, but he's got an opportunity around the outside. No opportunity taken. Oh my, did he just drive through the back of him? I think he may have, but either way, H-Boss just defending it well again, gets enough of an exit to stay in front. This is just a defensive masterclass at the moment from H-Boss. And again, just allowing no opportunity for the M6. Yuri is right here. He's got an opportunity to take advantage if he wants it. Bluebeard again, trying the long way round, but H-Boss is giving him no opportunities to the inside. That'll limit your ability to overtake, and H-Boss is just putting his car as wide as it needs to be, and the Aston Martin acceleration is taking care of the rest. It looks like it's not going to happen down into turn 2 here. Hey, Bluebeard is probably just starting to fade a little bit now. H-Boss has the best tire of the three. Yuri is well and truly involved. The question is it too little too late for Yuri? Here comes a brilliant exit for Bluebeard. H-Boss elects to defend the inside again. Bluebeard's going to have to get one of these exits right. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. He should have got that one right, but H-Boss again just had the inside line well enough to defend up the hill and gets enough of it to stay in front. Yuri to the inside of Bluebeard now, and this could be excellent for Yuri. The Dutchman to the inside of Bluebeard, and will separate first and second in the championship now. Yuri up in a second. Bluebeard fights it back. Yuri again. I think actually Yuri may have lost out there. Yuri has lost out, drops back in the third. Bluebeard is going all the way to the inside and gets a bit of nose left in on H-Boss. There is no move available there at all. Bluebeard now squeezing Yuri just a little bit. Yuri to the inside, heading towards through turn 1. Is actually ahead of turn 1 as they head down to turn 2, and Yuri is completely ahead of Bluebeard again. Bluebeard just getting a little bit too much on the exit. And once again, how do you get past a man that can't be passed? The answer is try again. Here comes Yuri, who's just had 2 laps watching Bluebeard do the same thing. I do believe the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Yuri now looking to the inside. Just doesn't have enough room. And H-Boss is defending like a madman. Bluebeard gonna fight Yuri back on this. They're side by side. Bluebeard to the inside. Might have got a bit in on H-Boss there, and he slid the car. And we're going to have a second look at that. And I think Bluebeard may have just lost it. Yeah, he just got into the inside of H-Boss. Oh, and then a little bit of tag as well from Yuri. That was just a bit all over the place. Obi-Wan overtaking for the bottom step of the podium. If he can hold on, stealing it right at the death. Bluebeard may have just cost himself a podium with that. Chuck Norris is in 5th. Guspad's got a second penalty as Chuck Norris, the Portuguese driver, is very much trying to take himself into a position for a top 5. A bit Major just pushed his way past Gusbach in the final corner. So Tracy is in 8th, but I'm not entirely... What has happened here? Wait, what actually happened to Rich? What? Oh, he got tagged from Major! Oh, he got tagged by Major! Oh, that'll do it. That'll definitely do it. Ouch, as we head to the final lap. Oh, looks like we've got a little bit more going on. Gusbach and Sir Tracy this time. Sir Tracy's able to fight back. Oh, there's contact on the way through. Sir Tracy tagging the inside of Gusbach again. Gusbach's car just did not take any of that. Danger Mouse may finally actually go after Sir Tracy. It's been a while. Again, the final lap dash to the line. It's just all over the place. Danger Mouse not able to get past at the moment either. H-Boss still defending from Yuri. There's Bluebeard in the gravel on the side. Yuri trying to overtake round the outside of the corkscrew. But he's gone too deep. He's gone over the gravel. And Obi-Wan is still in second. He's still in second now, looking for a move. There is an opportunity for Obi-Wan to steal all three. But H-Boss defends the inside again. And H-Boss has done enough. Just about every single person wanted a bit of him the entire way. Obi-Wan had an opportunity. H-Boss has defended just about well enough to win the feature at Laguna. Somehow, Obi-Wan steals second right at the last. Yuri will settle for third. Bluebeard shot himself in the foot realistically and came fourth. Chuck Norris in fifth. Major in sixth. Gus back in seventh. So Tracy in eighth. Danger Mouse in ninth. Sapper will steal up top 10. Ahmad's in 11th. D-Dubs in 12th. Well, actually, what happened to D-Dubs? Oh, that's what's going to happen to D-Dubs. 2 in a row where he just made an absolute mess of it right at the last. Back-to-back corners where he just got it 12. Damagingly wrong there for D-Dubs. Everyone coming over in a line. And who said Laguna's not a fun track to watch? It's a fun track to drive as well. Rich in 13th and Nave. Well, at least he didn't get lapped. That's about as much as you can take from his race. Wow. I can now take a second to breathe. There's a lot of things that happened in that race. Obi-Wan stealing a couple of places on the last couple of laps. He must have genuinely thought there was an opportunity to win that race. And I think H-Boss spotted it as well. That there may have been an opportunity for Obi-Wan to sneak something right at the end. But he snapped it right, snapped it in straight away by defending the inside of the second to last. H-Boss defending like a madman for 5 laps, well and truly earned his win. We'll see how that is done for the championship in a short second here, because that's what I'm going to now go and do, because I've got the laptop loaded up beside me. What a race what a couple of races that is. Yeah, and I'm not too surprised that Obi-Wan thought he was going to get it. There was an opportunity there that a moment going into the last couple of corners, I thought H-Boss was going to get caught sleeping. Apparently not. What a race. With that being said, I don't know if I'll be able to do it next Tuesday, because my university obviously cancelling the lesson today, put it next week, and I finish at 5:45. So it might be next Tuesday. It might not be. I'm not really sure when it would be if it's not next Tuesday, to be completely honest with you. I guess we'll wait and see. I'm not too surprised you said a lot driving on your mirrors at that point. But that being said, that marks the halfway point of the season. I will see you guys next time. Peace.